Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course, and joining us by phone on his way to Daytona is the one, the only Tommy Joe Martins. How's it going, man?
Going good. Heading down to Daytona and New Smyrna Beach to do some testing with Rajah Caruth, which we are really excited to do. First time we've gotten to do that as an organization, so it's all pretty cool.
Yeah, Rajah, I spoke to Rajah earlier today, and he told me how excited he was to get to this test down at New Smyrna. What was it like to go down there and schedule that test for him?
Well, as a small team and as a driver that's been on a lot of small teams, testing isn't something I've really gotten used to doing a whole lot or hardly ever. Kind of brings me back to my late model days where we would go do a lot of practice kind of in the middle of the week and schedule around that when I was running ASA. I know the guys on my team, like Dan Stillman, Paul Clapper, been on bigger teams. They've done a lot of testing. They remember going down here to Daytona in the winter and probably swapping motors 10 times over the course of a week, just trying to find a little bit. So got an old school feel to it. We're going to get down here, and it's really about getting Rajah comfortable in a car. Obviously, New Smyrna is not somewhere we're racing on the Xfinity Series calendar, but it's going to be about him getting more comfortable in a car before he makes his debut for us at Richmond here in the spring.
So let's. You also recently made some announcements regarding the team. So we went to one full-time car, to one full-time car, and a part-time car, to now two full-time cars. Talk to me about that progression of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes down to sponsorship. It comes down to a lot of planning, really. It was something that we always wanted to prepare for, the potential of having two cars full-time. But it was something that was really not finalized until the last couple of weeks here as Sage Karam and all the people over at Shelby Park Marketing started conversations with us about potentially filling some of those races that we had available on a second car. We knew that we were going to run a partial schedule with that second car. How many races is kind of up in the air. But we know with Sage coming over and with Ryan Ellis doing a great job of selling some extra races for us over there on that 45 car, we knew that we had it close enough to be able to announce it as full time. And we're only dealing with a handful of races now left that we have to sell on both cars. So as I sit here in January, I feel like our program is in a pretty good spot.
Yeah. Are there any more drivers going to be joining the team?
Yes. We've got a few more drivers to announce. That's going to happen here in the next couple of weeks. Some of those drivers that we're announcing, were a little bit more dependent on some other announcements. They wanted to do those first, and I understand that. So I've kind of let that play out, and we're going to finalize our lineup here in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. So talk about what, with this Alpha Prime Racing team heading down to, with Daytona, do you know who's going to be in the cars? Are you going to be at Daytona, as I think you've previously said?
Yeah, so thanks to Market Rebellion and a partnership they're going to announce here in the next coming weeks, I'm going to be racing the 44 car at Daytona, and then Cesar Baccarella, which has always been the plan for him to run a car down here in Florida, where he's from. Daytona means such a lot to him and Alpha Prime as a whole, as a company based down in Florida. So he's going to be in the other car there, and then as we head out west, I believe I'm going to be in the car in California. That's the plan right now in the 44, and I think in the other car we're going to have a surprise for you. We're going to be announcing that next week.
Awesome. And talk about Rajah's races. I know that they're kind of solidified right now. I think is still the plan 6.
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for, right? So we know the ones that are 100% confirmed right now. We've got 4 of those 100% locked in at Richmond, Dover, and later in the year at Martinsville in the fall, and also Phoenix, where Market Rebellion is going to be a part of that, sponsoring that race later in the year for him at the finale there in Phoenix, a place where he's run an ARCA race and will get to run again in an ARCA car this year before he hops in an Xfinity car with us. So I think about the progression for Rajah over the course of the year, getting to run a full season in ARCA thanks to Rev Racing and that NASCAR Drive for Diversity program, and how all that's come together for him. He's going to have a lot more experience behind the wheel of a stock car at the end of next year than he is here at the beginning of this year, which is why we're going down here and doing this test. But a couple more races for him on the schedule that we're trying to fill. Pocono, which I know they're in talks with a couple of sponsors to fill that one, and also Kansas later in the year, which is going to be the ARCA championship race, I believe, and that would tie into a pretty cool weekend for him if he got to run that race for us.
Yeah, of course. Well, the ARCA championship is at Toledo, of course, with Kansas moving up earlier.
Oh, okay. There you go. I knew it was in Kansas for a while there, Casey.
Yeah, they moved it literally this year with Kansas being in September, and then of course Toledo, the championship weekend.
Right.
There.
Right.
Personnel for the 45 team are so I know you said. Do you know who the crew chief is for that car?
Yeah, Paul Clefford is going to be the crew chief on the 45 car full time.
Okay. And of course,
and Dan Stillman's coming back to crew chief in 44. So
okay.
we're really happy with the team we put together over there. Frank Kerr has come over from Live Fast Motorsports in the Cup Series to help us out in the shop and basically be the third crew chief on our team. We're really, really lucky to have him. So I feel like our leadership at Alpha Prime Racing is really strong.
Yeah, for sure. All right. And also last thing is kind of explain what, the details of this test. This is the Rajah's rookie test. I know the tests have been a topic of conversation, but I kind of explain how this test works.
Yeah, so the way this works, the only testing that is allowed now in NASCAR, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, is one of two things. Either Goodyear tire tests or rookie tests, which Rajah technically is a rookie because he has never made a lap of Xfinity competition. So once you have made one lap of Xfinity competition, which definitely excludes me and Caesar, you can no longer go test an Xfinity car anywhere. So Rajah knew that if he went on this until after Richmond, that would obviously qualify him. So that's why we try to schedule this here in the winter to go down to a place that he's raced before in an ARCA car, in an ARCA East car. He's raced down at New Smyrna. It's a track he's comfortable with. Thankfully, the weather looks like it's going to cooperate with us. It's going to be a nice 70-degree day down there to test. That was kind of the plan. It's really just to get him more comfortable. The only time that he's going to be available to do this is before he cuts a lap in an Xfinity car on a NASCAR race weekend. So that's why we did it now. All
right. Well, Tommy Joe Martins, we'll let you get back to getting on your way down to New Smyrna and Daytona for the testing. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you later on in the year.
Yep. Thanks, Casey.